Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. So I just wanted to give you guys my opinion on the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 14, episode 4. I really am not going to give a whole review as it relates to this episode because I found it, to be honest with you, quite boring. I just want to pinpoint a couple of things as it relates to these couples. So let's get right into it. Kandi and Todd. I really don't know what Todd's issue is with Kandi or what he wants her to do. Todd seems to be resentful of Kandi, and she did mention that, I think, back in episode 1, that she felt like he resented her for her success. I don't understand why he resents his wife. She was successful before he married her. She was successful before he met her. What would he want her to do with her success? Like, what is she supposed to do with that? He knew who he was getting involved with when he married someone of her stature. So what was his expectations? Like, what is she doing differently now than when she was just his girlfriend? I'm not really understanding. I guess he's trying to say that she doesn't support him, but when he wanted to open up the OLG gang, he definitely brought that to her. At first she was like, I don't really know, but she did eventually co-sign on it, and we see where that is today. I think when they wanted to do the play together, at first, I don't know if at first it wasn't successful, but I know eventually it was not successful, but they did that together and there was no issues there. So what is she doing now that she wasn't doing for him before? She can't go back and change who she is or change what she's done in her past as far as her success. What is she supposed to do? Just sit at home and be a mom? Like, that's never going to be Kandi. We already know that she's a go-getter. Not only does she take care of her immediate family, but she also takes care of the rest of her family. So she's a hustler. She's going to continue to hustle. She's going to continue to be exactly who she is. In my opinion, he needs to either do better on the things that he's doing or, figure it out. So Todd does take everybody to see this apartment that he has, or a condo, townhouse, whatever it is. I think it's a condo that he has in New Jersey. And to be quite honest, I didn't think it was going to look the way that it looked. I thought that it was a little bit more put together. So I, at first, was kind of understanding where Kandi was coming from. No woman is going to want to live where her ex-man and his girl, no woman is going to want to live where her man and his ex-girl lived at. But Kandi girl, this place is something that you are going to basically have to totally tear down and build back up from the floor to the ceiling. So what's the problem? I don't really get it. If my husband brought me something like that and was like, listen, this is an investment property, we can totally remodel it, flip it, and just make it another form of income, or have it as a place where we can come and chill when we're close to New York, I wouldn't have a problem with that. I would not have a problem with that at all. Going back really quick to Todd explaining himself on the bus, we do see Kenya chime in, and she basically says in her confessional that Kandi is spoiled. And I mean, I didn't really quite understand too much about what Kenya meant. Like, again, what is Kandi supposed to do to make Todd feel like whatever it is that he's trying to feel? Because I'm still confused. Like, she's just a successful woman and it is what it is. Kandi, go ahead, work on that renovation project with your husband. Maybe you guys need to see some type of counselor to kind of work out these issues, because I can see this potentially being a lot worse than what it is, especially when you're dealing with somebody who's resentful. As it relates to Drew and Wreck-It Ralph, to be quite honest, I'm getting sick and tired of Drew. I'm getting sick and tired of Wreck-It Ralph. I don't know, honestly, if this is a real situation that they're going through, the back and forth, or if this is just for the cameras. Because one scene they're fighting and he's talking about, instead of giving her the lobster and shrimp or whatever it was that he gave her, lobster and steak, she should have had a Lunchable. And then in another scene, he's sitting in the hotel room rubbing her feet. Like, I'm confused. Are y'all happily married? Obviously you're not happily married, but like, do you hate each other? What is the issue with you guys? He's sleeping in the kids' room, which I'm just like, y'all don't have a guest room for this man? Why is he on the bottom of the kids' bunk bed? Like, really? Why is he not in the guest room? At least be in the guest room. And then, like, with the whole therapist coming in, it's just like, I feel like they're definitely, as the therapist pointed out, tit for tat. Not only are they definitely tit for tat, but they're very combative with each other, and that's just not healthy. Like, Drew definitely seems like she wants someone to tell her that she's right all the time. And girl, you're not right all the time. Like, listen, Wreck-It Ralph is Wreck-It Ralph. We're gonna get into him in a minute. But Drew, like I believe it was Sheree or somebody at the dinner table said to her, you allow him to treat you like that. So if you allow him to treat you like that, he's going to treat you the way that you're allowing him to treat you. With the whole waterworks every time you want to turn around. Now listen, I've been married for 10 years. I know when I really want to get my point across to my husband, or really let him know how I feel about something that he's done, I might shed a tear or two. But Drew, every time we turn around, whether you guys are in counseling or just sitting together having a dinner, you're always crying. Like, that don't move that man. So please stop crying. Put your big girl panties on and get your relationship in order. I really don't even know why you guys are on reality TV if you have so many issues in your marriage. So that's number one. Number two, you have to take a look in the mirror and ask yourself, what am I doing that I can be doing better as a wife? Like, what are some of his complaints that he has that I can probably work on? We're not perfect, although we like to think that we are perfect. There are things that I've come across in my 10 years of marriage that my husband has said to me, and at first I was very resistant to some of the things that he was saying to me, and so I was like, you know what, we argue about this way too much. He's always bringing it up. Let me see what I need to do better. Let me see, like, you know, when your husband is saying something, or if anybody's saying something to you and the shoe kind of fits, then obviously, you know, you need to work on whatever it is that they're talking about. If you're not willing to do the work, if you're not willing to take a step back and look at yourself, then you're not going to be helpful in your marriage. It just is what it is. I feel like she walks around like she's 100% right and he's 100% wrong. And just that demeanor alone is a recipe for trouble. If I were her, like I said before, I would take a step back, reevaluate myself, and just realize that the only person that you can work on is yourself. You cannot change this man. He's going to be who he is. And if he's not going to elevate himself to match where you're headed, then maybe you guys need to go your separate ways. That just is what it is. As it relates to Mr. Wreck-It Ralph, like, he is just so... He's a very handsome man. Like, when I first started watching, when they first came on the show and I was watching them together, I was like, wow, he's really a nice looking guy, you know, like he's nice looking or whatever. But then you start to look at his personality and you start to look at the way that he talks to his wife and the things that he says to her. And I'm just like, you are very handsome on the outside, but very ugly on the inside. And that inside ugliness just completely takes over what we see on the outside. I don't understand how he is so demeaning and degrading to her, and why. Like, what is your issue with women? What is your relationship like with your mother? Who hurt you? Who did this to you? Because you, if I'm not mistaken, have a daughter, and sometimes in relationships with people, or just in relationships in general, you have to take a step back and say, listen, I have boys. Do I want a woman to treat my boys the way that I'm treating their dad? I have a girl. Do I want a boy to treat my daughter the way that I'm treating their mother? I think not. So with him, it's just like, he just embarrasses himself time after time after time, like sitting at the table trying to defend himself with Kenya, and then try to dismiss what she's even trying to say to him. Like, the same advice that I have for Drew is the same advice that I have for him. Look at yourself, work on the things that you know that you need to change. You've been on TV now for 2 years. If you have not seen the way you've come across last year, and if you're okay with that, there's something definitely wrong with you. So I just, like, I can't take Ralph. I can't. And like I said with them, it's like, you see the way he treats her, and then you see the nice romantic gesture of, let me take her out, let me make her feel like a queen, like he said to his therapist. Like, I was doing this because I wanted my wife to feel like a queen. And that kind of melts your heart. Then you see in the next scene, he's rubbing her feet. That melts your heart. But it's just like, that's the part of me that's just like, I don't know if this is real or fake. Did y'all peep her assistant that was spreading all those rumors about him? Did y'all peep him come out on camera and went back into the room real quick like, ooh, I didn't know the cameras were here? That guy, Anthony, he is very shady. You heard it. He is very, very shady. When I saw that, I was like, I know this man didn't pop out to show himself on camera and then pop back in the room like, oops, I wasn't supposed to do that. I don't understand. Like, Drew can say whatever she wants about Ralph and this assistant that he has, but girl, you just as bad having this guy that's talking all this mess about your husband still on your payroll. Like, make it make sense, sis. And if it's a situation where this is your friend and you just want to look out for him and make sure he has a job, then say that. But don't make it seem like the man is on probation, because he did not look like he was on probation to me. Probation, in my opinion, means you're going to stay home for a couple of weeks and not get a paycheck until I feel like you got yourself together. But as it relates, like if somebody were talking about my husband like that, baby, there's no way you would be allowed back in my house. There's no way you would be in my personal space. So we do see that Marlo actually is in the process of building a home, and I wish her the best. I know she's going to get a lot of flack like she did from Kenya about having her closet be bigger than her master bedroom. But listen, clearly she don't care about the size of her bedroom. To each their own. I'm sure she's not the only person in the world who has a bigger closet than their bedroom. And if that's what she wants, I'm all for it. I can't wait to see how it's going to turn out, because I do believe that Marlo has really good taste. The thing that really tickled me about Sheree in this episode is when they were talking about Tyrone and she was explaining to the girls that he had put an order in to come to New York because it would be within his 100-mile radius or whatever his situation is. I was just like, girl, I'm pretty sure you don't put in an order with your probation officer to come somewhere. I just thought that was like really, really funny. It's going to be real interesting. We already know that he kind of ghosted her on this trip. So, I don't know, Sheree. I don't know, girl. But that's my take. Really, like I said earlier, it was pretty much a boring episode. But that's my take on the major things that were happening. I hope that you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.